Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a little bit of a somber story to tell you, and it revolves around this 1988 T-Top GT. I'm going to give you a quick little walk around here, which is pretty much what anybody gets if they see a car like this parked in a parking lot. Now, a tight eye might catch some more intense issues with it, but for the most part, you know, other than the paint being a little tired and stuff, it's all there, right? Seals are maybe a little tired. We got some interior panels hanging out. We got, heck, interior light on the passenger side works. It drove in here, okay? Now, the owners of this car, very nice people, servicemen actually, they brought it to me as they are very excited to get into a restoration with this car. This is one that they've been looking for quite some time. And they have a list of things that they've noticed since owning it, and they have only owned it for a short period of time, but they wanted to put together a longer list of items that I would find and mention that I think should be tended to. I've done that. I've put this thing up on the hoist and I've done my checks on it, and I'll be honest, I started running out of room to write. So we're going to put this thing up in the air, and I'm going to point out to you some of these things that I've found that, quite honestly, some of which probably could have been caught during the buying process. Maybe some of them could have slipped through the cracks, but these are things that everybody should be watching out for when they're buying a car like this. Page 1. Let me get this set up, and then I'll bring you guys under here with a light and we'll start going through her. I'll maybe start with, well, the worst of the bad, okay? So starting on the passenger side of this car, we obviously have some floor pan damage, which leads into brake line damage. Then we also have the notorious floor pan rot, and that is a full-blown hole. There's carpet on the other side of that. So that leads one to slide on over to the other side of the car. All right, check out this floor pan. We've got a full-blown tear in the floor. Now, that can be tended to, okay? But not ideal, right? And we also have some floor pan rot here. So that's not good, right? We're talking, well, floor pans, really. While I'm here too, I mean, obviously we got subframe connectors. These were probably welded by a junior welder, maybe standing about 10 feet back with about 9.5 feet of wire lead hanging out of their MIG welder. They were definitely put on by maybe not the most experienced welder, okay? This side of the floor pan, well, maybe, yeah, we got a dent here. It looks like this thing's maybe been thrown into the weeds once or twice, but so yeah, that's not good. This side is definitely not good, okay? So now, that's something that a person most likely could have just poked their head under the side and caught. Maybe in a really prepared scenario, you would have had a mirror with you and checked some of those things out. So anyway, there's that. We've got a banged up rad support, right? One of the things that the owner of this car has mentioned to me, that he says it doesn't seem like this little 302's got all of its full potential, which can obviously mean a myriad of things, at least from a solutions perspective. But while I was under here and looking up in here without the wheel well liners, because they are in the back of the car, I was noticing all this mud, right? And he did mention to me in a phone call that maybe when he first saw it or when he first got it, this thing did have quite a bit of mud on it. Well, check out the air filter in this thing. I mean, not saying that's the case, but this poor old car is definitely sucking through the top end of a needle trying to get air into it. So that would be a good place to start. Obviously very, very questionable wiring throughout. It just never seems to stop. This engine, and we'll get into this more when we get on top and pop the hood, but I don't get the sense that this is this car's motor. I think that my initial impression is that this motor, maybe trans as well, was thrown in here. This thing probably had a different motor in it, and this motor was thrown in here just to put it up for sale, get it running and put it up for sale. We got coilovers puking their guts out on both sides in the front. Somewhat minor, but we're missing the dust shield there on the front rotor, passenger side. We also have what seems to be pinched fuel lines. Pinched over here at the connection there, and then they're also pinched up high here where they go soft to hard. That could be another issue with maybe why this thing feels like a bit of a dog. EVAP's been pulled out of this thing and just deleted up here into the, well, atmosphere right now until there's a wheel well liner in there. We've got a bit of a damaged transmission support. Lots and lots of oil leaks. I mean, the oil leaks in this motor just don't seem to want to quit. I don't have any real read on, you know, what motor this is either. I mean, it's a little small block Ford for sure, but who knows out of what, from what year, whatever. Some questions there, right? We got a bit of a hybrid situation going on here for the power steering rack lines. We're hose clamped to the return side up top here. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of never ends, right? Obviously that overflow bottle is a little questionable. There's a lot of zip ties holding bits and pieces of this car together that, I don't know, it's not good, right? We got a torn seal here at the output side of the transmission. It could be leaking as well, or maybe that's just coming back from the rear main seal. This thing is leaking oil bad. This doesn't give you a very good interpretation of it, but when I pulled it in here, the floor was covered in oil, and I brake cleaned and wiped it up and put down one of these pads. It hasn't been started since, and we've just got a couple drips, but anyway, while this thing's running and spinning, it leaks oil. There was a whole trail of it coming in here on the floor too. The oil pressure sensor's leaking pretty bad. Oh, while we're looking up there, the power steering pump's leaking pretty bad. Yeah. Exhaust is very tired and very old. Our hangers are toast. We got holes starting in the mufflers. And I mean, that's minor, right? Exhaust stuff. But as I got more to the back of the car here, especially from the underside here, right? We definitely had a bit of a burnout queen because the remnants of the tire are all over the inside and underside of this car. So anyway, right, this tells a little bit of a story. It's like, oh, must have rubber over here, hey? Nope, no rubber. Right. So I'm just assuming, which I think it's fairly safe to do here, that this diff's probably very tired in that the she might not have any posi track left in her if we're just getting a one-wheel peel like that. And this passenger side tire is pretty much cooked. This one still looks pretty good. I don't know if that was one of the, you know, let's put her up for sale and do a final burnout or what. All the bushings back here are tired. We still got the stamp steel control arms, quad shock deleted. Actually, like, nice set of coilovers, right? Strange. But yeah, the list just goes on and on. Lots of little stuff that I noticed, but like the big ones here that are really glaring at me are the floor pan situation and, well, oil leaks and, well, safety related stuff in all honesty. I won't be able to show you this after we drop the car, but like there's no cotter pins on those castle nuts on either side of the outer tie rods. You know, like these are safety related items. It breaks my heart when you see cars like this because it always makes me wonder what the people were thinking when they put it together. Was it just slapped together for a quick sale, or is this how people work on stuff? I don't know. It terrifies me in all honesty. Moving up top, one of the things that the folks had noticed was the hatch didn't close very well. So in the grand scheme of things, now that I've seen what I've seen, I think the hatch is one of the least of our worries. We've got a battery relocated here, which is just living its life. It's not even bolted down, let alone contained and vented, but that's that. The smell of the interior of this car, which can obviously not be appreciated on video, is one of the most strongest cat piss smells I've ever smelt in my life. This definitely was a cat house. We've got very tired interior panels. These aren't even worth saving. We got an aftermarket dash. We have, well, essentially this whole interior, aside from maybe saving the console and the dash, minus the pad that's got a big tear in it, this whole interior needs to be redone, like 1000%. I mean, in the hopes that you could get rid of that smell. I don't know what the back seats look like yet because I haven't taken this stuff out of here, but based on the way this thing smells right now, I probably wouldn't keep the back seats either. Seals everywhere. This thing is going to need every single seal under the sun. Trim is toast. I did have the wheels and tires off of it. We have pretty much no brakes in the front. Backs need to be done as well. They're not as bad as the fronts. We've got a great big 1-inch spacer on this back axle, both sides, and studs, extended studs to get the wheels pushed out like they are here. Under the hood, I mean, the fun never ends. The wiring is incredible, in all honesty. It runs, not real well, but it does run. Again, I have no idea the lineage on this engine, and it looks to be something that someone might have had laying around and just thrown in. That's where, like I said earlier, I think this thing probably had a different motor in it. Maybe even a snotty one, because back to the interior, there is a boost gauge on the A-pillar. So maybe this thing was a boosted car. With those strange coilovers, like it's really hard to tell. There's so many assumptions that can be made in all of this, but when you start seeing fancy parts like that, it leads you to believe that, well, maybe this thing was purpose-built at one point in time and somebody had a parts car laying around, put the stamp steel rear control arms back in it, or they didn't mess with any of that and they just had a snotty motor in it and a fancier set of wheels and had some fun in it. Who knows? We've got a aftermarket power steering cooler, which is nothing more than just zip tied in there. Again, the zip ties are just everywhere in this car. Then another fairly significant issue we have here is a toasted cowl, which does carry on and lead into the roof. We had a full-blown hood to roof contact here. They do have a new cowl for it, but that's not an easy job, flipping that cowl out of there. Yeah, the issues just never really end on this poor old car. Door pins are tired. Headliners toast, dope scopes hanging. The old girl's in pretty rough shape. I put this video out with a very heavy heart because I feel terrible for the people that have entered into this adventure with this 88 T-Top GT, because they have the impression that this car probably won't take much to get it up to standard and them out enjoying it with their family. I mean, there was talk of this car once done being a bit of an heirloom, and it's not to say that this car can't be that at all. However, when you start adding all the bits and pieces up that need to be tended to on this car, we're talking like heavy tens of thousands of dollars to get this car, I mean, even just to a decent point, let alone a concourse car. I mean, that's hundreds of thousands, and that's not the intention with this car, but just to get it to the point where it's reliable, enjoyable, looks presentable, is trustworthy, we're talking like heavy amounts of money. So I put this out to, I guess, warn folks, you know, like when you're buying these cars, you really got to pay attention, because a lot of this stuff can be hidden, a lot of this stuff can be overlooked. You really have to have a tight eye, especially the older that these cars get. They typically tell a story, right? I mean, like the rubber in that back passenger side, like that will give, if you notice that when you're looking to buy one of these cars, that will give you indications of like, wonder if there's rubber on the other side. Nope, there's not. Okay, maybe we got a bit of a posi issue here, right? Diff needs to be rebuilt. Little things like that, like I mentioned earlier, the mirror underneath, the floor pans and stuff, especially in a T-top car or a convertible, right? Where you don't have a sealed roof. This is like pretty much typical these days. If the car was outside when you went to look at it and it's got T-tops, right? Maybe it could be a bit of an issue here. These are all indications that can lead you down a path of discovery to better understand what you're getting yourself into with a car like this. Don't let a fancy set of wheels and a bright blue paint job get you all antsy in the pantsy and forget to check some of these things, because like in this scenario, I mean, this is a bit of a sting. I know for a fact that the folks do not know about these floor pan issues, and that's a big one. I mean, that's one that you're gonna wanna probably prioritize way at the top of your list before you even start entering down any of these other adventurous roads of modding, upgrading, maybe a new motor, all that stuff. I mean, we're gonna have to reprioritize what these folks wanna do with this car and see where they're at. I ultimately have to go make this phone call right now and get an understanding of the fate of this car and this project. For all I know, it may get scrapped. I don't know. So anyway, sorry folks, kind of a somber discussion here, but I say all this to hopefully help people out there on their buying adventures and their future projects. Maybe if you or somebody you know has a situation like this, please comment below. It's a bit of a community discussion down there, and maybe your comment or your story could help someone else avoid a situation like this, or maybe even in a worse one. So anyway, I appreciate all you guys for watching. Thanks so much for tagging along. We appreciate all of your support here at the Castle family. Thanks very much, guys. Till next time, take care. Bye for now.